Just ahead on CTV News, Rashawn Baker files his candidacy for county executive. Plus, Bowie State graduates hear inspiring words from a rap legend.
For today's marks merely the beginning. The dawn of your greatness awaits. Let's make history together.
And Simon Buggs has our Thursday sports page. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for December 19th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Michaela Noon. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, former Prince George's County Executive Rashawn Baker officially filed with the Board of Elections today to get his old job back. Now, Baker is the second to solidify his race for the now vacant county executive seat, formerly occupied by his successor, Senator-elect Angela Alsobrooks. CTV News was at the Board of Elections to speak with Baker on how his experience will translate to results.
This is an emergency situation. This is not the time to have people who don't know how to be county executive in that seat. We've got less than 2 years to fill out the previous county executive's term. And somebody has to be able to step in there right away who's had success as county executive and get that done. We've known that, crime is on the rise in the county. Businesses are having a hard time working here. And those are the things that I worked on as county executive. And during that time, crime was down. Economic was up, we expanded our health care, and we have to do that again now.
Now, all candidates have until tomorrow to file with the Board of Elections, and Baker joins State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy as the only candidates who have filed.
And the U.S. Senate passed a military defense bill that includes a ban on gender-altering care for the children of military members. The $895 billion deal passed by a vote of 85 to 14. Both of Maryland senators criticized the ban but voted for the measure. More than 20 Democratic senators sought to amend the bill, but that move failed. The defense bill passed in the House 281 to 140. Among Maryland's House members, only Jimmy Raskin and John Sarbanes voted against the defense bill.
And listen to this, borrowers get some relief as the Federal Reserve makes a big move. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates by a quarter point Wednesday, its third rate cut this year, but warned that fewer cuts may come in 2025. Stock markets dropped after the announcement, with the Dow falling 1,100 points, its biggest drop since August and 10th straight day of losses, the longest streak since 1974. Now, Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the central bank is slowing rate cuts due to inflation and economic uncertainty ahead of President-elect Trump's administration.
Inflation has eased significantly over the past 2 years, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in November, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.8%. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets.
And Powell stressed the Fed is entering a new phase and will move slowly when considering future rate reductions. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court plans to hear arguments over a federal law that could potentially ban a popular social media app. Beginning on January 10th, the High Court will hear arguments over the Biden administration's ban of TikTok. The federal law would ban the platform across the United States by January 19th if ByteDance, the Chinese parent company, does not sell the app. The Supreme Court will also hear arguments from content creators who make money from the platform and are against the sale of it. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump will meet with TikTok CEO early this week ahead of the ban.
And at about this time yesterday, we were telling you about a bipartisan agreement on Capitol Hill that included full funding for the Key Bridge and a provision that gave control of RFK Stadium site to the District of Columbia. But that was before President-elect Donald Trump and Elon Musk weighed in, and the deal was scuttled. It not only means a government shutdown is likely, it also means the future of RFK and the bridge is uncertain.
They killed the bill that had the full payment for the bridge in it. Could go back to 100%. They could come back with 0%. We just don't know what they're going to do yet. But I got to say that it's not like whatever they bring back to the table, we're going to automatically accept. That's just not the way that's not the way these things work. So we had a reasonable compromise. Both sides had agreed to it in the House and the Senate. We should go back to that. If they don't want to do that, we're not making any guarantees that we're going to just automatically accept what they propose, because we can't do that. We have to remain true to our principles and make sure we're doing everything we can to help the American people get benefits out of this deal.
And late this afternoon, Republicans have announced that they have struck a deal and that the details are forthcoming. A vote could come today. The deadline to come to an agreement is tomorrow night at 11:59.
Well, the General Services Administration is offloading another large office building in the D.C. area as part of its effort to shrink the federal government's real estate footprint and save taxpayer dollars. On Wednesday, the GSA announced plans to sell a 337,000 square foot office building at 4700 River Road in Riverdale. Built in 1994. Now, this move is expected to save the government $26 million in reinvestment costs. The property sits on 12 acres in the M Square Research Park near the University of Maryland. It currently houses the Animal and Plant Inspection Service, a division of the USDA. Now, it's unclear how the GSA plans to dispose of the property or what it means for current tenants.
A man is in custody in connection with that fatal shooting in Capitol Heights yesterday. He is 25-year-old Giante McNeil Williams, and he was arrested this morning for the murder of 31-year-old Rakib. The shooting happened on the 6700 block of Walker Mill Road at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Investigators say Rakib worked at a store in the complex and that he was shot while being robbed as he took out the trash. Rakib was pronounced dead at the scene.
Somebody just came in and said, "You heard a noise?" We ain't hear the noise, but we just started saying a lot of police. Just sitting here, it's shocking knowing you work here and then something like that happened to you right here. It's scary.
I hate to say normal, but that's the truth. It is a normal thing in this community. It's the sad thing about it. It's always like normal, you know. It's like we so used to it, so it don't shake the day, but it do be like, dang, somebody lost their life.
McNeil Williams is charged with first and second-degree murder.
Well, a Prince George's County man has been sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. According to 27-year-old Andrew Hale's plea agreement, he and co-conspirator Antoine Hare committed at least 11 separate robberies of retail establishments in Maryland and in D.C. between June 19th and June 23rd back in 2022. Now, after their final robbery, police tracked the robbers, which led to a high-speed chase from Maryland into the district, where they eventually lost control of the vehicle and crashed, leading to their arrest. Sentencing for Hare is scheduled for March 27th of next year.
And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Coming up, AAA has released their predictions for upcoming holiday travel.
Find out what you need to know before hitting the roads. Back in a bit. Stay tuned.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick, on and off the field. We were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
I tell my son, I love you every single day.
I love you.
Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Welcome back. Governor Wes Moore announces a historic investment in statewide community revitalization and economic development projects. The more than $129.5 million will go toward more than 300 projects and activities that supports the state's revitalization goals. One of the projects in the county include the acquisition and redevelopment of the old Chevrolet Hospital into a mixed-use community. Another project in the county is the redevelopment of the Hyattsville Justice Center into affordable rental housing units.
A new study indicates that the amount of money the state spends on fighting obesity and diabetes is swelling. The study by Real Chemistry says Maryland's spending has increased by 86% year over year. Drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic are covered by Medicaid. Maryland currently ranks 7th in this spending category nationally.
You ready? 1, 2, 3, turn your tassel.
And the winter commencement for 2024 Bowie State graduates kicked off today. Hundreds of graduates filled the gymnasium, proudly walking across the stage to receive their degrees. And during the ceremony, Bowie State President Dr. Amina Bro honored the family of Anthony Linton Jr. with a posthumous award. Linton Jr., a promising student athlete, tragically lost his life in a car crash earlier this year. And hip-hop icon and trailblazer MC Lyte delivered the commencement address, inspiring graduates with her powerful words.
Understand your power and where it comes from. And then also, never be afraid to change your mind. And I think one of the speakers said, never be afraid to say what you don't know so that you can have somewhat of a clean slate.
I'm at a loss for words because I came all the way here from Memphis, Tennessee. And the fact that I came this far, I'm just glad that I could really put on for the people who really inspired me and who put me in this position.
And congratulations to all of those graduates. MC Lyte also announced she will be going on her one-of-one tour in the new year. And in other news, the Social Security Administration will raise the retirement age next year. The agency's full retirement used to be 65 years old. However, Congress revamped the program to adjust for longer life expectancies of Americans, which resulted in increasing the retirement age. The full retirement age has increased by 2 months each year, and it is based on someone's birth year. Now, Americans can begin accessing their benefits at 62. However, it would not be the full amount. But for more information, visit ssa.gov.
And the 3-member Board of Public Works voted to extend by 6 months a contract that ensures electronic benefit services, including SNAP payments. The vote comes as the contract approved this summer is the subject of a courtroom battle. State officials say the extension is needed while a ruling which voided the contract is appealed. Maryland ranks 2nd in the nation in stolen food assistance benefits. The Maryland Department of Human Services asked for $30 million in the coming budget. The money will be earmarked for reimbursing EBT cardholders who are the victims of fraud and benefit theft. And the busy holiday travel season is upon us, and as is tradition, people will be taking to the roads, the skies, and rails. AAA predicts 119 million people nationwide will travel more than 50 miles from home. More than 2 million of those will be from Maryland. The holiday travel season, which AAA says will be record-breaking, runs from Saturday, December 21st and Wednesday, January 1st. One benefit for those driving to the destination, lower gas prices compared to last year. And as for the sector seeing the largest increase in holiday travel,
but where at AAA we're seeing the largest bump is in those people who are taking other modes, so traveling by bus or train or cruise ship. In that area, in Maryland alone, we're expecting to see about 117,000 Marylanders taking other modes. That's an increase of about 12% compared to last year, but it's a 26% increase over 2019, and it's actually the second highest travel volume we've seen in that other modes category. And that's been the category that's been a little slower to increase post-COVID, and we're definitely seeing that that is no longer the case.
Among the best time to travel, according to AAA, by car tomorrow before 11 a.m. Among the worst times to hit the roads, January 2nd from 4 to 8 p.m.
Well, Amazon has been hit with a massive holiday strike. Workers at 7 Amazon facilities went on strike today, just days before Christmas, in what the Teamsters Union calls the largest strike against the retail giant in history. The union accuses the retail giant of refusing to negotiate. Delivery hubs in New York City, Atlanta, Chicago, San Francisco, and Southern California are affected, and it could delay gift deliveries, even here in Maryland. Amazon denies the Teamsters' claims, calling the strike a publicity stunt, and say that it won't affect operations. So will your holiday gifts arrive on time? But with thousands of workers walking out, only time will tell.
We'll see. Well, Maryland's life sciences sector continues to grow within the state's economy, this according to the Daily Record. Whereas the growth of many industries in the state has stagnated, life sciences has seen a 39% increase in job openings since 2019 and employs more than over 50,000 Marylanders in this region. The state's proximity to federal agencies is a primary factor driving that growth.
A county council in Delaware rejects the application that would have installed a wind farm. The Sussex County Council voted 4-1, which denied a permit application to U.S. Wind, a Maryland-based energy company. Now, the group wanted to build a wind farm off the Ocean City coast. Reports indicate that the company will likely appeal the council's decision, and the opposition against the wind farms claim the project would be negatively impacted on Delaware's waterways. And so to come on CTV News, Mariah Jalad recently spoke with the representatives from Latinos for Trump.
After the break, find out how the group was able to come together to make their vote count. Back in a bit.
The doctor said I only had a 29% chance to find you. But I knew you were out there. Every night, even when my heart was sad, I wished for you to sign up. I got so sick that I couldn't go to school, but I still made people laugh. But when we matched, it was the best day ever. Dear donor, your blood stem cells saved me from leukemia. Thank you forever and ever and ever. Sincerely, Owen.
Experience the true joy of saving a life at nmdp.org.
Now that the dust has settled on the 2024 election, we're taking stock of the changes in the electorate.
Changed demographics made some parts of the election hard to predict. CTV's Mariah Jalad spoke with one group that's been defying expectations in politics.
The 2024 presidential election was surprising to some Americans, with 43% of Latinos in the country electing Donald Trump. I spoke to some local Maryland Latino Republicans who are optimistic about the future of their party. It's been an exciting month for Juan Leo Salazar, the president of Maryland Latino Republicans. He's celebrating the election of Donald Trump.
Being a Republican, to me and some of my members, is the right thing to help people. I mean, the Republican Party has changed so much. It's not like before. People were saying, "Oh, only the rich can be a Republican. Only the ones that are up there can get ahead." And that's not so. Nowadays, we all need to work together. We all need to try to get along, and that's one thing that Mr. Trump is going to be doing.
Latino voters turned out en masse to vote for Republicans down the ballot. 43% of Latinos voted for Trump, including 48% of Latino men. These numbers were shocking to some, especially in light of the threats Trump has made of mass deportations for undocumented immigrants. Salazar says that's not a concern.
Mr. Biden opened the borders. Anybody can come in, and that's what the issues are. I know that Mr. Trump is going to go after the criminals. And the ones that didn't show up for court, the ones that are committing crimes. What Mr. Trump is doing, and he's going to do it the right way, let's get the ones that are going to be doing bad things for the country. already, Mr. Trump has said, if you go to school, college, if you go to 2-year college, junior college, if you go to university for 4 years, or if you're a professional, you will get your visa right away. You show me that diploma and you will get your visa.
Salazar is an immigrant himself. His experience with the immigration process was smooth.
I was born in Peru. I'm Latino born. But I came here in the late 60s. My whole family came. The same old story. Your dad comes here to work at the embassy and you stay. In those days, things that were so easy just to go to the embassy. The United States Embassy in Peru says, I need 4 visas, 5 visas, oh, no problem here. Nowadays, things have changed. Nowadays, things are so different and so hard.
He says the border under President Joe Biden has been too relaxed, even for those claiming political asylum.
And I can sympathize with if I see a lady with 2 kids, that's a different ballgame. That's a different story. I can sympathize with that. But when I see a guy who's really built and he seems like he can take care of himself, and he tells you, oh, they shut my house, oh, they're going after me. But prove it. There gotta be some papers.
And sorting the criminals from those honestly seeking asylum isn't a concern for Salazar either.
We can ID the bad guys. In Maryland, we can ID the bad guys. All you have to do is just go to Langley Park. They're there, some of them.
For decades, Langley Park has had one of the highest Hispanic populations in the state. And for years, officials have taken note of an increase in undocumented immigrants. Since the 90s, it's been common to see Hispanic day laborers waiting at Langley Park Plaza.
We didn't used to see this during the Trump administration in the past, when he was president for his first term, the 4 years. People used to have work. Even though in this time, this kind of weather, they were working, and now during the Biden-Harris administration, look at the devastation, the economy, how they are struggling to make their living.
Alfonso Talavera works for the state GOP, doing Hispanic and Latino outreach. He says the community's main motivation for voting for Trump is a struggling economy.
If the investor trusts the economy and they feel confident, they do investments. And when they do the investment, they create jobs. The Hispanic Latino community, as you see workers right here, they're construction workers. They go and do also, by the construction, they do obviously landscaping, they do other kind of stuff, remodelation and stuff like that. See, that's what they work. Also, we have other sectors of the economy, like this business right here. They've been affected by the economy as well. See, this is the Hispanic Latino heart, in Hyattsville, in Prince George's County, when they have their business. And they've been affected by this economy as well.
Salazar is confident that his organization will be able to reach Trump and advocate for the issues he once solved.
Trump is a businessman. Of course, he probably will not meet with us, but people from his administration will. And we tell him, this is what we want, this is our letter. We vote 46%, 45%. We need to get solved, and I think he will.
Mariah Jalad, CTV News.
Thank you, Mariah. Well, Simon Bugg's now joining us with the Thursday Sports page with Shaken.
Well, guys, I have a great story lined up for today as some elementary school students from the state got to experience a day they'll never forget. Stay right there, sports fans. You're going to love this story. Be right back.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD. Many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we can help. Sometimes in class, the only thing your child can focus on are the thoughts racing through their head.
Why can't I just pay attention? Why am I always falling behind? Why do I feel so alone? So different.
Your child is looking to you for answers, to help them make sense of it all. But as a parent, you probably have a lot of questions too. What should I do next? Where do I even start? At understood.org, we provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do.
All right, sports fans, I know you had to wait, but it's finally time for your Thursday sports page. We begin with some college hoop highlights. It was a packed house over at the Xfinity Center earlier today as the UMD women's basketball squad took on William & Mary for their field trip day game. Students from all over the state came to College Park to watch the Lady Terps in action. In the first quarter, now the team shot well from the field, but Maryland was able to shoot just a little bit better. And the shots that did fall, like this triple nailed by Allie Kubek and Cheyenne Sellers finding the open man and Christina Dolce for this layup, helped the Lady Terps end the quarter up 23-14. And Maryland's lead got bigger in the second quarter as plays like this tough and one layup from Sellers. Kayleen Smichael doing a nice job of cutting to the basket for the nice finish inside. Kubek putting her defender in the weight room as she converted on this tough layup, combined with the Lady Terps' ability to cause turnovers, helped them go into halftime with a 49-30 lead. And moving on to the third quarter, the Lady Terps kept their foot on the gas as guard Sarah Tibiasu driving baseline to pull up and hit this midi, and Bree McDaniel faking out her defender to find Kubek for an easy lay, helped them outscore the Tribe again in the third quarter, this time 30-20. And Maryland stood on business at home as they kept their lead for the rest of the game, dominating William & Mary 107-57. Maryland is now 11-0 on this season. Nice job getting the dub today, ladies. Meantime, the Washington Commanders are gearing up for another division game. This Sunday, the Burgundy and Gold will host the Philadelphia Eagles at Northwest Stadium. Philly has had a great season as they are in first place in the NFC East at 12-2 and are a threat to finish as the #1 seed of the entire NFC Conference. A big reason for their dominant season has been their defensive front, as players like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis have been giving offenses problems all season. And head coach Dan Quinn gave his thoughts on what makes that unit so tough and how to limit their impact.
They've really got an effective four-man rush, and so that's what makes the challenge more difficult to say that's a matchup. You can help to one, you can slide to another, but somebody has the hard down. And so that's what makes it the most challenging to me. And so you want to get into some down and distances that don't favor the defense. Okay, I'll put my ears back and going. So when it's the super long, how do I move the pocket so I don't put myself into those spots? But that's why I think the first and second down part of this game, I'm not going to say it as important as third down because that, extends it. But winning on first and second down is a big piece of this.
Washington and Philly will take the field at 1 o'clock. Come on, y'all. We need this one. Let's take care of business. Moving on to the NBA, the Washington Wizards will be in action tonight against LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up your Thursday sports page.
So, Simon, you were at the UMD game. What was the atmosphere like?
It was amazing, guys. It was so loud. The kids, they lost their minds today, man. It was definitely good to see the UMD women's basketball team put on a show for the kids. Like I said, I definitely feel like this is a day that they'll never forget. It was definitely exciting to be in the atmosphere, and even better that they got the dub. So it was a great day today for sure.
Right, thank you. Okay, Simon, thank you very much. Let's get a check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be cloudy and we have a chance of rain. Tomorrow, that rain is sticking around throughout the day. We'll have a high of 44. Saturday, it's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 37. Sunday, it'll be sunny with a high of 31 and a low of 15 degrees.
And for our community calendar this Saturday, the Accokeek Branch Library will be hosting a movie screening for Disney Pixar's Wish. After a young woman named Asha wishes on a star, the cosmic ball of energy decides to come down and accompany her. Now, with her courage and Star's magical powers, nothing is impossible. This screening takes place from 2:30 to 4:15, but for more information, contact 240-455-5451.
And that's our news tonight. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.